Russian people adore Italian wines. There is a strong connection between our countries, and Italian wines are very popular in our market for probably 15 years already, provided that Russian wine market is very young. We started appreciate wines seriously probably from the beginning of 90s, so it's very young market. First, Russians, I think, love French wines, and Italian wines should be on the second place in our market. Probably the most famous brands or denominations in our market are Tuscany wines from such as Chianti, Brunello, Vino Nobile, definitely from Piemonte like Barolo, like Dolcetto, from Veneto, starting from Puglia, from Sicily. But I don't think that Sardinia wines are so popular now with the Russians. We have not so many Sardinia wines on the shelves. In terms of Russian market in general, it's a very tough, difficult market for Italian producers to deal with because we have very, frankly speaking, ugly laws and rules, lots of restrictions, very complicated system of licenses, certification. So unfortunately, when the wine reaches the shelf, it costs sometimes 5 or 7 times more than it was bought ex-cellars. So you can imagine it's ridiculous. And that's why it's very tricky and difficult to bring really good wines, which we call value for money wines, when you can buy, for example, for 5, 7, 10 euro here, and to bring to Russia, it will cost respectively 25, 30, 40 euro. So it's too much. Sometimes when producers visit us in Russia and see their wines on the shelves, they say, I can't believe our wines can cost so much. So this is a problem, in terms of the prices as well. So, but anyway, we are working. We believe that the situation will improve.
From my point of view, and this is a very specific point of view, because we are not. What I can do is I can only talk about my market, yeah, because I'm a direct importer, not only of Italian wines, but also of Spanish, French, Portuguese wines, Austrian wines. But what I can say, and definitely in my region, Italian wines are very highly recommended, and therefore the importance of Italian wine in our portfolio is very, very high, and therefore, and I'm very lucky about it, we can offer a huge range of high quality Italian wines from the very north of Italy, which is Valle d'Aosta, Alto Adige, Friuli, Piedmont, to the very south end of Italy, which is of course Sicily. And the reason why I'm actually here is to found a new partner from Sardinia, who can deliver well, at least these crispy, fresh, perfect seafood wines like Vermentino di Galuda, and of course the red wines, Cannonau, Carignano wines from the more southern part of Sardinia. why is the situation of Italian wine so good in my market? Well, I'm from the very south of Germany, and people say that Munich, for example, is the northest city of Italy, and therefore we have a huge offer of very good Italian restaurants. People stay for holidays in Italian. They get to know to your very nice wines. Not only the whites, also the reds, the rosato wines, sparkling wines, frizzante, coming back to Germany, and of course they want to have these nice wines again in their glasses, and so therefore the request for these type of wines is quite high. The only the only negative estimation might be that some of the Italian regions, some producers, some areas increased prices a bit too high in the past. For example. No, I don't want to just focus on several regions. This would not be fair. But this is what I can say. Just stay calm and don't increase prices too high. And then I think the situation of Italian wines in my market will be perfect also within the next few years.
The Italian wines are becoming very popular. Especially in the last maybe 5 to 10 years, the people in the UK are beginning to understand the regionality of Italian wine. 20 years ago, they just knew Chianti and they knew Barolo, and that was it. But now they know the more obscure regions like Marche, Abruzzo, Campania. They're beginning to learn the different style of wines and the diversity from north to south in Italy, especially. It's quite a diverse country for making wine. You know, it's probably the only country in the world that makes wine from the very north to the islands. So it's and it's exciting region for the UK wine buyer. If you ask about any problems, I guess it's a generational thing. The older wine buyers still think of Chianti in the flask hanging on the wall in the Italian trattoria in London. It's been hanging there for 20 years, and thin, bad quality wines, but the younger generation of wine buyers are much more hip to understanding the regionality and the variety of the wines. I guess any other problem would be just learning the different varieties. There's, I know, 570 different indigenous grape varieties. It's a lot to understand, and because of the New World influence, all the New World wines have the grape variety on the label. In Italy, you have the name of a wine and the region, but not much else. There's no clues to what's inside the bottle. But people in England, we're very good at remembering brands, so we can remember Barbaresca, Barolo, Barbera d'Asti, Nero d'Avola. The wines from Puglia in the south are becoming very popular, and they're replacing the cheaper Australian wines in the supermarkets now. So you see more Sicilian wine, more Puglian wine, whereas once you used to see cheap Shiraz Cabernet from Australia. So Europe is coming much back. European wines are now the #1 wine in the UK rather than Australia or Chile.
I think the Italian wine market in the U.S. has a good chance of going into the future as the products and qualities improve. Pricing is always an issue. I think there's been a slowdown in purchases initially going through the first quarter of the year, but that's basically based on more of a concern about the financial crisis. But I don't see that as being a long-term trend going forward. I think there's lots of opportunity growing in the U.S. market specifically. Yeah. I think in the U.S. market there's a great opportunity coming from the south of Italy, especially in Campania and in Sicily, in Basilicata. There's more of a trend towards the white wines, showing that the true quality of what's available, with more fruit and full body styles. There's definitely an opportunity growing in those markets.
Hi, my name is Vikash Gupta. I am from India. I have a company which imports only Italian wine into the country, and the name of the company is Winner Enotica Wines. We are basically looking at some great Italian wines into the country. Just to tell you a little bit of the opportunity the Indian wine industry has. Indian wine industry is at a very nascent stage. We are a country which is not a wine drinking nation. It's very difficult to get Indian men off whiskey, single malt and beer. So, but it's a country where I still see a lot of potential in the wine business. I see opportunity because a lot of women have started drinking wines, and that's where the huge potential lies. What I did is about 3 years back, I started looking at that as an opportunity as an entrepreneur. I started importing only Italian wines because Indian relate very much with Italian as a lifestyle. Italy is not just about Italy, it's also about their lifestyle, their culture, their food. And I think after, if you know about India, I think, you know, after Chinese and Indian, most important cuisine that people enjoy most is Italian food. People love Italian lifestyle. Everybody talks about it. There's a lot that goes on. So people are very interested about Italian lifestyle, Italian way of living. And wine is one of the things which talks about people's culture, its lifestyle. So it's not just importing wine from Italy. It's also bringing a story of Italy into India. And that's what I, as an importer and as a wine, wine enthusiast, is trying to create. There are challenges. As I said, India is not a wine drinking nation. We are growing, but at this almost at 30% a year. People get very excited because they ask how many people in India. I say 1.2 billion. So they get very excited about the numbers. But then you have to have a lot of patience. India is it's a country where you need to have a little time. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some energy. It's going to take a lot of marketing effort to create your interest of your product in India. So the challenges is one of the biggest challenges is also the duty. The import duty on wines are quite substantial. That makes it very difficult for everybody to drink wine in India. You know, the wines which I buy for maybe €3, by the time it retails, it is almost €30 because of duties. That's why it makes it difficult. And every state in India is like a country. It has its own rules, its own policy, its own duty structure, which even makes it more complicated. So, yes, there are challenges, but I also look at the opportunity, the other side, where, yes, people have started liking wine. They started drinking for health reason, for style, lifestyle. It's an in thing now. It's going to grow. It's going to grow. And we all have to kind of hang in there and do our best to make it happen.
Diversity of the Italian wines at the moment has improved a lot, and the wines in general is selling well, especially in the Scandinavian markets. The Italian wine market share increased about 30% last year. So, and it's also due to the even from design of the bottles to the marketing, the pricing has been fair for the last few years. And in general, it means a lot to the to the Italian wine market. It's easier to sell the wines as a dealer as well. The problems could be in the future. Of course, the Italians tend to, or some of the producers, if the wines get good scores, if they become famous, they tend to higher the prices. That, in my view, that would be the biggest problems to some of the producers, that they get too excited about the demand for the wines. In other case, I think the Italian wines is on a good way in general, and I hope it will continue like that for the next few years to come.